Okay, we continue with the core strategy just now. Just now we're running out of time. Okay, so core strategies, right? For example, not core strategy, the business missions. We are until business missions. Okay, for example of the business missions for the Zynga companies. Okay, Zynga companies is a producer of a social game. Okay, for example, they produce the games like the Farm Villas, the Texas, okay, the Texas Pokers. In well, all of this game can be played through its website and also through the social networking platform. For example, you can use the Facebook to play, you can use the Google to play. Okay, so the missions of these Zynga companies, okay, their missions is to connect the world through games. Okay, this is the missions for this single company. Connecting the world through the game. Okay, so from here we can see that their mission statements they provide the directions for how the other elements of the first business model should be configured. Okay, so the company they focus on the game. They focus on the game as opposed to other business pursuits, and its game would be social, meaning that they would be designed to be played with other people, okay? With other people. And for the mission statements, okay, when we do the mission statements, there are several rules, okay? You need to define its reason for being, and then you need to describe what makes the company first be risky and challenging, okay, but achievable. Use a term that represents the company cultures and also values, convey the passion and stay in the mind of the readers. They be honor and not comes to be something that the company is not. Okay, for example, don't come to be we are the number ones this producer in the world. We are the number ones, the best in the world. Okay, don't claim something that is not in your business mission. Okay. And then for second elements is the business differentiations. Okay. It is important that a business clearly articulates the points that differentiates its product or service from competitors. Means that your product must have something we call it as wow factor. Okay, wow factor. You must have this wow factor in your product. You must have something different in your product. Okay, what are the things that makes your product different from the product of your competitors? Okay, so a company's basis of differentiation is what causes consumer to pick one company product over another's. Okay, the special thing about your product. Okay, what makes people pick a product over another's? For example, we compare AirAsia and also Malaysia Airlines. Okay, what are the basis or differentiations that AirAsia have? AirAsia, they are low cost, right? They are low cost. So these low cost words makes a lot of the user, makes a lot of the travelers, okay, they choose to use AirAsia instead of using the Malaysia Airlines, okay, because AirAsia is more cheaper. So this is the differentiations, okay, the wow factor of AirAsia. Because for AirAsia, sometimes to travel to Peninsula, for example, we can get the ticket less than 100 ringgit if we use AirAsia. And if we want to travel to other countries, sometimes we can also get a very cheap tickets price, right? So it's what solves a problem or satisfies the customer needs. Okay, it's best to limit a company basis of differentiations to 2 to 3 key points only. Okay, to 2 to 3 key points, and make sure that your points of differentiation it refers to benefits rather than the feature. Okay, rather than features of your product. Okay, the benefit. What are the benefits of your product? For example, the basis or differentiations of Young Living. Do you know Young Living diffuser, the essentials oil of the Young Living? Okay. What are the differentiations? What are the point of differentiation for the Young Living product? Okay. The points that they use is The essential oils are made from all nature's elements. Okay, are all nature's 100% pure. Okay, pure from nature without adding any other chemicals to inside it. Okay, that's the main point of differentiations that they use for the young living diffuser and also essential oil. Okay, and then the third element is the target markets. Okay, the identifications of the target market is with the firm will compete is extremely important. So a target market is a place within a larger market segment that represents a narrow group of customers with similar interests. Okay? So a firm target market should be made as listed in the business model templates. Okay? For example, you are selling clothes, okay? You are selling, let's say you are selling t-shirt, okay, t-shirt. So t-shirts, the user, the consumer, the customer of the t-shirt are very wide, right? Okay, female, males, adults, teenagers, baby, all use t-shirt. So here you need to narrow down the group of customer, okay? Maybe for your target markets, okay, after you narrow it down, okay, your target market is the big size female. Okay, the big size t-shirt for the big size female. Okay, so this is your target markets. Okay, so you need to narrow it down. And the second component is the product and the market scopes. Product and market scope. This one defines the product and market on which it will concentrate. So most firms start with a narrow product or market scope and pursue adjacent product and market opportunity as the companies grow and become more financially secure. Okay. For example, once you want to start, okay, let's say you start a restaurant, you start a fast food restaurant. Okay. So you start with a very narrow product first. Okay, maybe you focus on burger first. Okay, you focus on burger. Your main menu is burger. Okay, so after your companies grow, okay, you have more stable financials. Okay, you want to further the your product. Okay, for examples, you start to introduce the spaghetti. Okay, start to introduce spaghettis. After that, you start to introduce, let's say, Italian foods in your restaurant. You start to introduce a Western food in your restaurants. Okay, from the narrow product. Okay, you can go for this. Okay, after your companies grow. Okay, once you have the market opportunities, as the companies grow, after you have more resources, after your financials more stable, okay, you can make it work. Okay, you can make your products more different. So in complex the business model templates, a company should be very clear about its niche product, and also the market scope, and project 3 to 5 years in the future in terms of the anticipated expansions. Okay. Okay, the next component is resources. What is resources? So resources are the input a firm used to produce, sell, distribute, and service a product or services. Okay, resources are the input. For example, if you want to sell, what are the product that you want to sell? Okay, for example, if you want to open a restaurant again, okay, you want to open restaurants again, what are the inputs? The input is you need the raw materials, right? The things that you use to produce the final product. Okay, we make it more simple. Let's say you want to sell burger. What is your input? Your input is the patty of the burgers, okay, the raw materials, right? The equipment, okay, all of these are resources. The things that you use to produce a burger. Okay, after this input, it goes through a process, then it will become an output. Okay, the output is the final product that you're going to sell, that you're going to distribute. Okay. So a firm's most important resources, both tangibles and intangibles, must be both difficult to imitate. okay, and hard to find statistic for. So this stipulations is necessary for an individual company business model to be competitive over the long terms, okay. So that's why for the burgers, right, we always heard there's a lot of people selling homemade patty burger, okay. This homemade words, okay, it is something that's difficult for people to imitate because they have their own recipe, okay, how they want to make the burger, okay. Same goes to the KFC, okay. We don't know what are the recipe that they use when they make the product, when they make the KFC product, all these things, okay, because difficult for us to eat. And second elements under the resources is the core competency. A core competency is a specific factors or capability that support a firm's business model and set it apart from the reverse. So a core competency can take on various forms. Okay, for example, as technical know-how and efficient process, a trusting relationship with customer, expertise in product design and so forth. Okay. So most startups would list 2 to 3 core competency in their business model template. For example, another example of the core competency for the business, okay? For example, good supply chain management. This is also one of the core competency. Or good management team, okay? Another example of the core competency. For example, McDonald's. What are the core competency that McDonald's have? They have efficient process, right? They have efficient process. They have a very standardized process, right? Okay. And then the last elements in the resources is the key asset. Okay, key assets are the asset that a firm owns that enable its business model to work. So the asset can be physicals, it can be financials, it can be intellectuals or humans. So physical asset is include the physical space, the equipment, the vehicles, and distribution networks. And intellectual asset include the resources, the patents, trademarks, copyright, and trade secrets, along with a company brands and reputations. And for the financial asset include the cash, lines of credits, and commitments from the investor. Human assets include a company founders, key employees, and its advisor. Okay, for example, you are doing the e-commerce, right? E-business. So what are the key assets that you have? Maybe your key asset is the website that you have, the mobile apps, okay, the mobile apps that you create, okay. So these are the assets for the e-business that you have, okay. Of course, you also can mention about the human asset, for example, the company's founders that you have, the employee, okay, these are the human asset that you have, and you also have the financial asset, right? In order to start a business, of course, we have the cash, we have the credits, we have the commitment from the investor, right? So for the intellectual asset, you can mention about the brand of your product, the brands of your companies, okay? And if you talk about the reputations, because for your e-business, it's just a new business, okay? So if you mention about the reputation, it's quite not certain, is not really suitable for the new business, okay? For the reputation, if you are existing business, okay, then you can mention about the reputations. For the new business, just started, okay, so this reputation is not really suitable for your key asset. Okay, but you can mention about the website, about the mobile apps, okay, that you have, or if you have the patent, if you have the trademark for your product, if you register for the copyrights, okay, for your product or services, you can mention all of these assets. Okay. Financials, next components. So this is the third components, okay, of a firm business model. So this is the organizations of firm business model that describe how it earns money. This is extremely important. So for most businesses, the manner in which it makes money is one of the most fundamental aspects of its business model. So the first element, revenue stream. So this describes the way in which it's make money, how you make money. Either you have single revenue or you have other several revenue. Okay, for example, the restaurants. Most restaurants they have a single revenue stream, and their customer order a meal and pay for it. This is single revenue stream. So how about the several revenue stream of the restaurant? Okay, for example, they are not only doing the dine-in services, they also do the catering services. They also sells the product, okay, sells this product. Example, the bottled barbecue sauce for a barbecue restaurants, okay, an apparel product with the name of the restaurant often. This is several revenue streams, okay, in order to have another way to earn the money, to earn the revenue for the businesses, okay, other than the man's way, okay. Okay, next element is the cost structure. So business cost structure, it describes the most important costs incurred to support a business model, and it costs money to establish a basis of differentiations, develop core competency, acquire and develop key assets, and so forth. So generally, the goal for this both in a firm business model template is threefold. Okay, the first one, we need to identify whether the business is a cost-driven or the value-driven business. And then we need to identify the nature of the business cost, okay? The nature of the business cost and identify the business major cost category. For the, okay, for the cost drivers here is means the business that focus on maximizing the cost wherever possible. Okay, so this is what we call it as the cost-driven business. And for the value-driven business, okay, the business that focus on the value that the customer get when the customer buy the product. Okay, buy the product from them. Okay, this is the value-driven business. Okay. And then for the financing and also the funding, many business models they rely on a certain amounts of the financing or funding to bring the business model to life. So at the business model specifies the exact amounts of money that is needed. Okay, so an approximation is enough. There are three categories that we need to consider when we do the financing or funding. First, how much is the capital cost? Okay, how much is the capital cost? And then what are the one-time expenses? For example, when you hire people to build a website for you. So this is one-time expenses. Or you training the initial employee. Okay, this is one-time expenses. Then provisions for the run-out expenses, and most businesses incur costs before they earn the revenue. Okay, before they earn revenue, they were paying for the cost first. They will only achieve the equilibrium of after a few years, after a few years, after a few years of the business. Okay, and some entrepreneurs they are able to draw from their personal resource. Okay, that means their pocket money. Okay, they draw the saving. Okay, to start the business. In other cases, the business may be simple enough that it's funding from its own profit from day one. So in many cases, however, an initial infusion of funding or financing is needed. And the business model template indicates the appropriate amount of funding that will be needed and where the money will most likely come from. If, for example, if you get the money from yourself, okay, you can put their personal resources, okay. If you get the money from the investor, you can put their funding from the investor. If you get the fund from the loan from the bank, you can put down loan from the bank. Okay, this indicate where you get the money to start your businesses or to fund your business. And then the next component is the operations. This is the final quadrant in a firm business model. Okay, in where it's focused on the operations. So we know that operations is represents the day-to-day habit of a firm. Okay, what we do daily. Okay, this is operation. For example, McDonald's. What are their operations? Okay, they do burger every day. Okay, they do the customer service every day. They do the COD delivery every day. Okay, this is day-to-day businesses. So first, first element is the product or service production. So in this section is focused on how a firm's product and or services are produced. Okay, for example, if a firm sells a physical product, then the product can be manufactured or produced in-house by a contract manufacturer or via an outsourced provider. So this decision has a major impact on all aspects of a firm business model. And let's say if a firm is producing a service rather than a physical product. So brief descriptions of how the service will be produced should be provided. Okay. You write down you write down there how the product are produced. Okay, how the product are produced. And the second element in the operations is the channel. Channel means how you deliver your product to your customer. Okay, either you use the agent, you sell it directly. Okay, you use the distributors, you use the wholesaler. Okay, or you use the combinations of both. Okay, this is the channel, okay? So some firms, they employ a sales force they call a potential customer to try the cross-sell. So this is an expensive strategy, but necessary in some instances lah. For example, you're doing the e-business, right? You sell something online. So what are the channels that suitable you can use? You can sell it directly to the customer. This is one way. The second way, you can use intermediary. For example, you recruit agent. Okay, you recruit agents to sell the product. Okay, to sell your product. Okay, this is another channel how you can distribute your product online when you do it online. Okay, and the next element is key partner. Key partner. So the startups in particular typically do not have sufficient resources or funding to perform all the tasks necessary to make their business model work. So they rely on key partners to perform important roles. Okay. So what are the examples of the key partners? So here are the examples. Joint ventures, networks, consortia, strategic alliance, trade associations. Okay. So what is joint venture? Joint venture is an entities created by two or more firms that pooling a portions of their resources to create a separate or jointly owned organizations. Okay, means that you combine with another firm. Okay, another firms. And there's networks, a hub and web configurations with a local firm at the hub organizing the interdependency of a complex array of firms, and consortia refers to a group of organizations with similar needs that bands together to create a new entity to address those needs. Then for the strategic alliance, okay, and arrangements between two or more firms that establish an exchange relationship but has no joint ownership involved. Trade associations, organizations that are formed by firms in the same industry to collect and disseminate the trade information, offer the legal and technical advice, furnish industry-related training, and provide a platform for collective lobbying. Okay. For example, in your businesses, let's say you sell flower. Okay, you sell the flower. So let's say your company name is Beautiful Florist. Okay, this is your company name. So for the key partner, maybe you can have a partnership with wedding planner. Okay, so for the key partner at that column, you can put the wedding planner name. Okay, the company name. Okay, for example, honeymoons bridal. Okay, this is the key partner, your business partnership. Or maybe you can have a partnership with a bakery. Okay, bakery. So ABC Bakery is your partnerships. Okay, or maybe you can put your supplier's name. Okay, as your key partner, as your key partner. Okay. End of chapter 4. Do you have any questions? Okay, so for this chapter, this, oh, well, is it? Okay, for this chapter, this will be your assignments. Okay, this no assignments. This will be your tutorial for this chapter. The Behringer's Islands Business Model Template. This is your tutorial for chapter 4. Okay, so you need to discuss in group. Okay, discuss in group how to do this business model templates. Okay, uses the business plans that you are doing now. Okay, what are the core strategy for your business? What are the resources? What are the financials and operations? Okay, you fill in these templates, and then next class. When is our next class? Friday. So next class, you choose one representative to present your business model templates. Okay, so that's mean our next class is your presentations class. Okay, your presentations for this business model templates. Any questions, class? Any questions? No, no questions. Okay. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, okay, for the remaining time, the meeting will end in 10 minutes. Okay, the remaining time, you can start do your group discussions, okay, how to build the Behringer's business model templates, and then you can choose the representative who to present next week, okay? So you can start doing your tutorial. Okay, so that's all for today's class. Okay, thank you for your participations today. Okay, so stay safe, everyone, and stay healthy, and see you again on Friday. Okay, bye.